It was late October, and the nights had already started to darken early around Lincoln Middle School in Springfield, Illinois. The old brick building, built in the early 1900s, always felt colder at night, darker, emptier. Students had long since left for the day. Teachers packed up their bags shortly afterward, and by 7 p.m., silence settled thickly through the halls. But lately something had changed. Teachers who stayed late grading papers or coaching after-school clubs began noticing someone moving quietly through the building. At first, they didn't give it much thought. It was just the janitor, after all. Someone who blended into the background, sweeping floors, emptying waste bins, locking doors. But after a few weeks, something felt strange enough that teachers began talking. The evening janitor had become a regular sight, quietly working the halls with his head down. But no one could recall speaking to him directly or even clearly remembering his face. There were polite nods exchanged, a quiet hello occasionally muttered, but nothing more. Then one evening, something unusual happened. A history teacher named Janet Brooks had stayed late to organize materials for a field trip. It was nearly 9 p.m. when she stepped into the hallway and spotted the janitor standing motionless by the locker room door. She paused. "Everything all right?" she asked cautiously. The janitor didn't respond immediately. He stood perfectly still, face half hidden beneath a low, worn cap. Then he turned slowly toward her, nodded once, and resumed mopping the floor in silence. Unsettled, Janet hurried back to her room, gathered her things, and left. The next day, Janet casually mentioned the strange encounter in the teacher's lounge. The assistant principal, overhearing, frowned in confusion. "We don't have a night janitor," he said. "Maintenance always leaves by 5. A strange silence fell over the room. "What about the man who's here every night?" Janet asked quietly. "I saw him yesterday." The assistant principal shook his head firmly. "There's no one here after hours." That afternoon, school officials reviewed surveillance footage from hallway cameras. At first, there was nothing unusual, but then, around 8:45 p.m. each evening for nearly 2 weeks, a figure emerged from the maintenance room carrying cleaning supplies and quietly began mopping the floors. He always stayed just out of clear view of the cameras, face obscured by the angle of his hat. No forced entry, no broken windows. Whoever he was, he had keys, but no one had ever given them to him. When police reviewed the footage, the situation became even stranger. Not only had he been coming into the school nightly, but sometimes he'd spend hours quietly walking the hallways. Never stealing, never vandalizing, just cleaning floors, locking doors, moving silently from room to room, like someone carefully keeping watch over something. The keys he used were eventually traced to an old master set that had been missing for years, forgotten until now. The man was never identified. After news spread, sightings abruptly stopped, as if the janitor had vanished as silently as he had appeared. Months later, Lincoln Middle School replaced all its locks and upgraded its security system. Yet teachers and staff remained uneasy, quietly wondering who the man was and why he had walked the empty halls night after night, taking care of a school he never worked at, as though protecting a secret that only he knew.